Thank you guys very much. We're here, we're Winded, and today we're going to predict the outfall of Startup Weekend this year using blockchain. So my name is Peter, this is Simon, and basically our solution brings finally a mature platform to predictive markets. Because right now at the core of our service is accountability. Imagine what you could do with less certainty. Imagine what you could do with less certainty in your boardroom, less certainty in your financial decisions, and less certainty in your teams. So right now, accountability is a major issue of ours. There is so much talk, there's so much fluff, and that's what we're cutting through. So now I want to give the word to my colleague Simon, who will take us through the solution and how this actually works and the customer journey. Thank you.
All right, so my name is Simon, and what we built for the Startup Weekend is actually kind of cool. So what we did is sort of like a put your money where your mouth is kind of prediction market, and it's actually live. One of the things that a problem with like betting apps or predictive apps is that there's no accountability, there's actually no money in the system. So you already have apps where you can do a bet, but everything's funny money. But what we've done is we actually created a platform that has both real money and has a platform to do these predictions. So let me explain how it works. So what we did is we built a smart contract, decentralized, autonomous blockchain platform to facilitate these prediction markets. And the way we've done this is we use Bitcoin. So you can actually, based on the papers that we handed out today, you can actually go and place your bet on who you think are going to win today. And I know you might say, well, not everyone has Bitcoins, but as a matter of fact, we are actually in the epicenter of Fintech in Denmark. There's even one of the judges on the board that's invested literally millions into a Bitcoin company. So if you're going to find somebody who knows how Bitcoin works, it's going to be here today. So yeah, let's go to the demo. So all of you have these papers that you can vote on. There's also something on the wall here. Now all this information goes into the blockchain, which is transparent. So we can take the payment input directly, and we can actually put that along with the value into our smart contract algorithm. So here we're actually calculating the payouts. So when we have the jury vote, we can actually go in and see who are owed what by the smart contract, and we can do the payment automatically. Now, of course, you're saying this is Excel, this is not smart contracts, but this could very easily be programmed as a smart contract, so this will be executed automatically. So this is kind of cool. The idea with these platforms is to go and address these markets for, well, it's an interest in like a low friction type of way to predict outcomes of certain situations. So things like Startup Weekend, if you have any other type of competition, if you have, say, a boardroom meeting, you're sitting discussing a certain type of action, you can suddenly say, well, are you willing to put your money behind that prediction? And that way you can see what would be the most sound solution.
Okay.
All right?
And in regards to the execution, in regards to the validation, I'm now actually getting a note from my coworker here who is saying that a few people have actually already used this. So we already have money now on the program, and we already then makes us cash flow positive and have the proof of concept. So I just want to, not in the name of accountability, talk more fluff and invite for the Q&A so we can get the discussion started. Thank you very much.
Question? All right, just could you elaborate on who's the end customer here for you?
So the platform can be sold sort of like a service to, say, events like Startup Weekend. So you'll have like a single login that manages all the Bitcoin addresses, that have templates for the papers we put up on the walls and hand it out. And then we're going to go in and direct into the smart contract. We're going to take a fee of all the transactions. So that's the way we're going to make money off it.
So it's organizations who see it as...
Yes, organizations.
Right.
And do you see this as a global product, or have you thought about where you wanted to start this product off and in which areas or segments?
So it's quite universal. You can use it for a lot of stuff. It's of course interesting to go to like events that are somewhat centralized and we can present them, we can help facilitate it in the beginning. But potentially this could scale because everything is digital, so you can just offer it as like a subscription or you pay per event or something like that.
I was just thinking about, just one more question. I was thinking about is there any part of this which is kind of regulated because this is close to gaming, kind of? Have you looked into that?
Yes, that's why we are starting the company in Cyprus.
If you take one step back, and what is the key problem you're solving for your customer, and what's the value that you bring? Clarify that.
Yeah. So the idea is to do it like a very low friction, quick and easy, quick and dirty way to do a prediction market. So I could say you want a prediction on some sort of topic, and you don't want to like build your own app or do like an entire complex solution to do that. So you can quite quickly just set it up and launch it as a service. So it is. It is quite simple, and a lot of these, there's already like betting apps or where you can do these type of bets, but all of them are quite cumbersome. There's a lot of friction if you want to handle actual money,
So basically, our service would be the first of its kind to integrate financial betting, if you may, for the lack of a better word, and the financials and with the platform. So in that sense, we become the first to do that.
And the value you provide is that you make a way of knowing what the outcome will be. Or?
Yes,
exactly.
So this is the wisdom of the crowd, so to say.
Yeah, that is being tapped into.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say it was a really cool presentation. We really like the energy and the confidence. But so I just have a question in regards to selling the product, because blockchain and Bitcoin is rather different to comprehend when you are just a regular business. How would you sell that or persuade the users to try the platform?
Yeah, I think today there has been made some really great presentations that very simply articulate what it is, Bitcoin, how it's used, and there are a lot of wallets now that are super easy and user friendly. So we see this as being a declining problem, and given that we have a lot of expertise of Bitcoin on the team, we're able to very clearly and delicately articulate these things.
Can I have a final comment? So this actually works. So if you have Bitcoins, you know somebody has Bitcoins, you can actually go and donate now. We already put a few hundred kroners into the contract. So if you get it right, there will actually be like a sort of like an upside to that. And otherwise, just ask us if there's questions.
Thank you. Thanks, Reed. And please put your hands together for Common.
Hi everybody, we are Common and we are here to enable your future shared financial life. What is a common? A common could be Thomas. That's your son with Gita, your ex-wife. A common could also be your co-living apartment that you've just invested in New York. Or it could even be your lovely shared puppy Fido that you and your mom both take care of in different ways. We see that finance is not keeping up with the future family and future social structure that people are going to need for banking. We've created a short video that will talk through a little bit of the problem we're solving and our solution.
Meet Søren and Gita, a great family with 2 kids, Emma and Thomas. Due to unforeseen events, both Gita and Søren decided to split up. Gita has taken both her kids in a new relationship, and at the same time, Søren has started a new family life. After the divorce, they tried to fix their financials with the banks, but they encountered a long, confusing process that took time and provided less transparency for both of them. This can keep them reliant on each other for various lengths of time. In this difficult situation, we help them manage financials in a more enjoyable way. Common, an app for financial lives across connected social groups with shared financial dependency, aggregates transactions for Emma and Thomas across banks, helps connected people have a better financial experience and a more transparent overview. The app provides the user with secure transactions aggregator platform, creating full transparency and security, virtual financial advisors, and much more.
So, as you can tell from the video then, what we've created here is an app that is a transaction aggregator across multiple banks and people who have a shared common interest. So in this case, it was Thomas and Emma, the children. And could you bring up the presentation? Thank you. So this is the app that you're looking at. And so what you can have here is you create various comments, and in it then you have transactions that are automatically pushed from different bank accounts into here, so you can see all the unified ones without accessing each other's account data. We've created a app for our MVP that we're going to show for you live here and walk through. So this is a very basic login page, so you'll have to forgive it is an MVP. So once we click login, you can see that Søren here has 2 kids that he tracks under different comments. We have Emma and Thomas. So if we click on one of them, this is a very basic example of how we're going to operate the app. It's not only just a chat function, but once transactions start to come in saying that the school bill is paid, you will see that recorded without having to know, did the school get the money and get a request or a push with an extra fee saying that you didn't pay your bill because your husband or wife didn't pay it as you'd agreed. You will see it and have it recorded here. If you go back to the presentation, we did some user validation over the last 24 hours and saw that there is a pain point here. People don't like having to log into multiple bank accounts to see their transactions, and it is an issue to not have transparency with people that you have shared costs related to. We also had positive feedback that 64% of the people who went online said they definitely or very likely would use this application. We did a market analysis and looked at any family, in essence, whether married or unmarried, people with children, would be a good starting point for us. So we actually have 1.3 million people in Denmark that we could approach. Our first target, of course, has been the divorced family, where it's a more complex financial situation. And our revenue model is based on freemium. So the basic access is free to create a comment and go online with one other person and to have up to 25 transactions per month. Expanding ones are more about personalization and anything up to a virtual assistant. We are Common, and we are here to change your future financial life.
So what's new? So you're aggregating transaction data from the bank, right? You force through payments and other stuff, so your application or just monitoring your transaction.
With the new PSD2 regulation coming up next year, and then there will be open API from banks, which would enable us, according to our research, will enable us to see the transactions of different accounts across different banks. So we are at the moment, we're focusing on looking for the overview of different transactions related to the one shared common cost for different people. So we're not really tapping into the transaction at the moment, which is much more difficult, I think.
Very nice and very good presentation, and I like that you also had time to do the video there. What's your business plan? Who pays you money? What's your business model like? Who's your customer in this case? The free or you have the free.
Yeah, well, it's actually a combined model. I mean, intentionally, it's the transactions and the different subscription models will be the starting point. But we actually see a lot of potential in partnerships with financial institutions, but also family management institutions like insurance or counseling, or people are parts of networks, or even school. It could be many things. So going through partnerships and then having some kind of financial model either from us to them or vice versa.
How do you plan to get the customers on the platform?
If we can go, well, our slides is not there anymore. We would like to start with partnership with the financial institutions, because we think this would be, there will be mutual benefits for both of us, because if you remember in the premium version of our service, there will be virtual financial advisory, which could be a potential link between us and the banks the customers are using. But in order to get the first group of customers, we think the online approach of grasping customers will be the most cost effective, which means the Instagram, social media, and the channels?
Yeah, the other channels would be through newspapers, TV, the offline media and marketing that we want to do. And yeah, social media platform, that would be the most important for us in the start, in the early incipient phase. And then we move further to develop.
I was just going to say, we did test this on Tinder yesterday, just in case.
Yes.
That's why we got so many responses of our user.
But do you see your first customer as the banks and then the end, or I didn't quite get that?
Well, I think the first finances would have to come from an investment partner, but the actual payment per use will come from the transactions and subscriptions that we talked about.
This is like Spotify. There's free version, there's premium version. You can subscribe by yourself as a B2C model.
And you talk about the divorcees, divorce families, etc. Which other areas could be of interest?
Sorry, I'm plugging it. It's pretty much anywhere where you have one common element where you're both contributing costs to. When we did our validation, we got input that 75% of the people who responded had more than one bank account they were using, and it was as high as 4 or 5 bank accounts, even for an individual, let alone a combined couple that reported. So anytime you're buying a house and you both have separate accounts where you want to track, have you paid the contractor who's doing renovations? Again, the co-living circumstance in the future we think will be big also. The example we had was collegium, where people have to contribute shared costs to a student living environment. So anywhere there's this one entity.
Thanks, Common, and please welcome on the stage, Hike.
So, a wonderful good afternoon. This is our CTO event. I'm Stefan, co-founder and CEO of Hike. So, what is Hike about?
Hike allows you to invest into what you are passionate about based on well-informed portfolio recommendations.
So, let's take a look to John. John just got a new job. He turned 26, and his problem is he doesn't have a lot of money, so he's very tight. And he still wants to invest money, but how can he do it? He doesn't have any knowledge, and all the numbers, statistics, he really don't know how to do it. So, but invest in companies that present his values and his interests, that would actually help him. So, we also checked it. We validated our idea, and the thing is, more than 50% said that personal interests are a deciding factor to investments. And there's great opportunity. Our target group is between 20 and 30 years old. So, and there are 2 problems. Millennials are not investing in the stock market, and like as a second problem is they don't feel that they have enough money to invest. So what's the solution? Here is the 3-step solution actually. So we want to use big data to analyze your personal social media accounts. So how is it going to be? We connect your Facebook account to our investment account and bring out the key interests and generate a list in the second step. So on the third step, we give you 3 recommendations. And since you know John is very interested, for example, in Mercedes-Benz, we offer you one recommendation which says automotive. So the competition, you see, we also have great competition in the market, but nobody is as good as Hike. So you just need a low amount of money and you get a personalized portfolio. Nobody is doing that. And we also want to target our target group, of course. So how are we going to do it? We use social media, we use affiliate marketing, and of course, we want to partner up with our financial partners we already have. And we think that we also can make money. I think, especially for investors, that's very important. Like, we need per investment, we take €5 every investment, and we also take an annual fee of 1%. So let's try the demo.
Okay, so we'll start the application. Yeah, so the login screen, so we are going to log in now. So, okay, so here we can see the portfolio performance, and below now you can see the individual portfolio. On the My Interest page, you can see interest groups you are interested into, and on the ETF page, you can see all the available ETFs that you can invest into.
Thank you very much.
So, do you have any questions?
So just a quick question in regards to regulation. Do you actually conduct the transactions, or do you work with financial institutions on the back end?
Yeah, certainly, of course, we work together with the financial institutions because we are not a bank, we don't have the banking license, so we of course work together with banks, and so that's how we offer the portfolios, and yeah, for legal reasons we do that.
And do you have like these key markets that you want to roll out to? Europe, global, Scandinavia?
We've thought about this, and we think it's a good idea to start first with Denmark, and as we have a friend from Germany, he stated that there is a huge problem in Germany with investments. So we thought that we can target those two markets, and for the beginning, start modest, and over time we can develop on that.
Have you thought about bringing personalization into your investment decision? Is that enough value creating thing to go out to the market? What is Hike more about? Is it just that you bring personalization to the investment decision, or is it something more?
What do you mean by personalization? To build your own portfolio in selected companies, or
your personal interest decides what you invest in. That's the idea about Hike, wasn't it?
Yeah. So the personalization is a big part, of course. But then again, we thought there are platforms, for example, that only provide like companies that people are really interested in. But we're saying that's not the only part. We say we still want to make smart decisions while making decisions with companies that interest you and that you care about. So then again, we put out the personal data, and it's about creating the match, basically with the data that we get from the stock market itself. And finding that match, then we provide a portfolio that says, okay, this amount of percentage is of your interest, and we created this portfolio that could be a smart decision, while this amount is actually the companies that you're interested in. So it's about the interest combined still with the smart, diversified portfolio. And that's not been done yet.
Okay, thank you.
What's the lowest amount I can invest in Hike?
Yeah. So as we said, the problem is that students, they don't have enough money, so they can't invest like 100,000 kroners. It's totally impossible. So we're focusing on portfolios which are ETF based, so you can do lower investments and the fees are also lower. So we thought about starting at around 100, 200 euros, which means in kroners, I don't know, because I'm from Germany, 700 probably. So, and then it goes up. We thought the average investment size would be like 500 euros, which is around 3,700 kroners. So that's the amount we thought about.
I just want to say that my team, we're really passionate about ETFs because for a small amount of money you can tap the whole market or the whole world, and at the same time provide some personalization to our customers based on their data.
Yes, I would just say I think it's a good idea to tap into the Facebook and preferences personalized. I get that. I think also the students would like to make money. So there's something about thinking about how to choose the good portfolios that actually are earning money for them as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ike. And now Please welcome on the stage, Payoff.
Payoff. We are here to make people feel better about their debt and pay it off faster. Meet our hipster friend Peter. Peter's 29 years old and he just graduated from university. He has been living the life, traveling around the world and spending all the money he has. But now he's in this age where he started to think about buying his own house and starting a family. And this is exactly the moment where he's suddenly feeling this nasty stomach rumble, realizing that he's actually been accumulating quite a bit of debt. Peter is not alone. Today, there's a huge amount of bad consumer debt floating around in our society. This is not only an unpleasant financial situation for these people, but it also affects their health. They don't eat, they don't sleep anymore, and they become depressed, which then also affects their families, their employers, and in the end, it's a societal problem. We don't want people to be unhappy, and we don't want them to potentially end up in the Danish TV show Luxusfælden. Yeah. So we went out to the we did our research, and we went out to the street and talked to potential users. What we figured out is that debt is the topic that gives them such a negative feeling they don't even want to think about it. Debt is considered dirty, and people don't like to talk to other people about money. And we figured out that they would much rather talk about it to a non-human.
So that is why we have created Payoff, a super convenient solution for people to feel better about their consumer debt in order to also pay it back faster. We would like to show you our online demo right now to get a better feeling of what it actually is we want.
Hey Peter, I've cancelled your subscription.
Thanks, cool.
Do you want flowers or wine for your mom's birthday?
Flowers.
Okay, it's ordered.
Thank you.
Congrats, you reached your next payoff milestone.
Oh, you're awesome.
Now you make me blush.
All right. In order for us to provide this service, we have created Payoff, which is going to utilize a specific AI assistant for people to have a personalized consumer debt specialist. It is going to provide recommendations for people on how to lower their debt. And it's going to be user-friendly and on all the platforms the user is. This is a solution we give to guys like Peter, that he will have his own personalized consumer debt assistant right in his pocket, and he will never end up in Luxusfælden. So more hardcore, we look at all the data on the transactions Peter is doing. We analyze that, and based on these findings, we give him recommendations on what to improve, or we take the decisions for him. The AI we're utilizing is constantly getting to know Peter and how he actually wants to communicate regarding his consumer debt. So these are actually
All right, so could you elaborate a little bit about what segment are you actually targeting here? Is there a special or is it just all over?
No, for now we're actually targeting people between 25 to 35 years old, mostly. It's both these kind of more digital native persons, but it's also where you have accumulated some kind of debt, and also in a situation where you're planning to actually start these kind of future thoughts about buying a house and so on. It's a more critical area.
All right, and how do you plan to make money? What is your business
Can I
model?
just add to this one, because we also heard that this is actually the age group where people tend to switch the banks, or most likely. So banks have this interest also in retaining the users at that age.
Money-wise, we're going to sell it to the banks actually. So we want to go deep in their dark rooms and actually provide this intelligent brain. So they have this plug-in system that is going to analyze the different consumers and provide a service for them. So potentially we can target around, we think about these kind of low mid-level banks where they potentially cannot bring this kind of technology to the market and are more able to actually get a license in that.
Okay. One question. What you were focusing now on in the demo was very much the day-to-day savings that you might be able to get. Will the system also provide an overview about all the debt that I have as Peter, and the different payment terms and things? Because I guess that I'm guessing that the end result, I'm supposed to save money in order to pay off my total debt.
Yes, correct. Many of the findings we got is that typically you have this like high number that people only see like minus a lot of zeros. We somehow want to split that up in many ways. And also we want the machines to become smarter and actually take these decisions where you can lower, for example, subscriptions or the different interest rate on the different loan types. For example, student loans here in Denmark can actually be affordable to take regarding if you have a credit card or overdraft to take that. So I think that's becoming smarter all the time on how to lower the debt.
Just want to say, I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think you could approach some banks and ask them if they would be interested to offer their customers this, because the banks have huge costs with the customers which are not performing. And could there be some way of an early warning for the bank in their advising with the customer, then they get a good chance of being proactive, and that's something which the banks wants to be in a cost-efficient manner. I think you could be onto something.
Thank you.
Thanks, payoff. And now it's time for Genta. Yeah, yes. Let's go.
Hi guys, my name is Morten. I'm Julian. I'm with Genta. We let subscriptions find you. So we found a problem. 76% lack overview of the subscriptions. You probably heard about that before. So we thought, how can I simply subscribe to all the essential everyday bills, like, for instance, tax, utility, the renovation, and so forth. We let subscriptions come to you. So we're building a single platform where you can manage subscriptions. What we are doing is that from a business perspective, we're gonna be able to create subscriptions, and he's gonna be able to send it to his user database, all his customers. What the driver will be able to do is that he will see a notification. We will probably work with ebooks. When he will get a notification, he will see that he has to sign up to the subscription. He will download the app, and it will be in there. The value proposition for this is that it's easy to set up for a business. It's very easy for a private to subscribe. You will get an overview of your spendings, and you will obviously save time and money on both sides. So what exactly is this? Well, we have created an MVP, and we will make a customer walkthrough. We have also made a tech demo that you can see afterwards, and that's built on the Stripe engine. Later on, we will build it on the PSD2 backbone. So the customer, he gets the notification through ebooks. He downloads the app. He's put in his credentials, so the backend knows who it is. He's welcomed by Genta. we are the service that helps you. Oh, I have 4 things I need to subscribe to. In this instance, we will take SCAT as an example. I change some SCAT things, and they send me a notification that I need to pay a recurring bill over a certain amount of time. For this instance, it will be monthly based, and there will be 10 payments of 1,850 krones. I push next, and for now I will be adding a payment type, which is credit card, but next year, as you know, we will be going bank to bank with the PSD2. I lock the payment card, accept the terms, and voila, you have it. Congratulations, you signed up for a subscription, which is SCAT here. I see my subscription here. I can see the economy. Right now it's only the 1,850 that will be recurring over the next 10 months. And still, I have 3 requests that I need to attend to. The business model. Well, it has to be free for every private. But, of course, we're going to earn money on this. And we're going to try and lower it to 2 kroner. And why is that? Well, the competitive landscape, as you know, when it comes to recurring billings, retailing service has almost a monopoly. We have MobilePay who is going into this space, and we want to be most cheap and friendly in terms of plug and play. Our go-to-market strategy will be municipalities and institutions that can push this app. They create the subscription, they send out a request, I as a private find it, and I'm subscribing through the app. Proof of interest, we know 65% would like this from an survey in here.
Thank you. I think I understand the basic problem here and what your solution. But explain again how you will earn money on this.
Every transaction, you take 2 kroner and a successful transaction. So for instance, we would say that let's be conservative, 1 million people are doing average free subscription each. So that will be 3 million.
Okay, but how will you reach this million people?
That's the go-to-market strategy.
Yeah.
We do municipalities and institutions. So let's say, for example, we know a few people in DR, they would like to get their money. Well, we could use this kind of service for DR. We also had a proof of concept with Omnicard, who would really like this, and also Magistrene, who is a union that have 55,000 people. So they would definitely like to use this kind of service so they could push it out to all the customers. And they know exactly, okay, I get this through my e-box, I download the app, and I pay.
Okay.
So they come to you instead of we have to remember it.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
I think it's a really, really cool project. Subscriptions is always a hassle, and I could see Susanna was just shaking, retailing services dying, so that was really cool. But I want to hear, actually, we've been fooling around with subscriptions for quite some time. I think many of the commercial players out here, like Spotify and Netflix and so on, they would like the recurring subscriptions just to go on.
That's true.
How would you convince those guys to be on your platform where users are actually able, really easy to unlock the subscription?
I think that we start with the heavy lifters, the heavyweighters, and do these guys later, simply because those are the most painful and forgetful ones.
Yeah, I also think that there's so many organizations out there. You don't need to do Apple and Spotify. They have their own ecosystem. You're never gonna get Apple. Well, we know that Truebill, which is a Y Combinator founded company, of course, Truebill tracks these subscriptions, but they will never be able to get the actual payment through their system. They have their own setup. But I think that there's so many other places, there's so many organizations and companies that love this.
Perhaps Omnicard is a company doing subscription-based car repair. These are actually the guys who would love to have an easy way to push away the responsibility for them to do this software and present it better than the normal PBS to their users. They will actually have people signing off and on.
Just a follow-up question. So you're using Stripe initially?
Yes.
So Stripe takes a cost of your revenue. Does that add up with the 2 kroner?
No, it does not.
It will do it when we do PSD2. I know that Stripe is doing preview mode on the managed accounts, and then we can do 0.5% in transaction fee. Of course, it's still more expensive, but I think we can manage it. Mobile pay can do it. Right now, with payment, with the credit card, it's 1.4% plus 1.8 kroner. So obviously, it's a shitty business case right now. But I think with the right players and maybe a few investors in here, I think we can do something really, really interesting.
So Monday, Stripe, next year, PSD2.
Exactly.
So would I be able to get an overview of all my subscriptions in this?
No, not yet. Right now, we are focusing on municipalities and organizations. But later on, and when PSD comes in, we can use an aggregator like Plate, Solvage, or whatever that can track it. Just like Truebill is doing, or it's like SubHub is doing, or at least they're trying. They're doing the same thing as Truebill.
So until then, I would need my retailing service and your.
And that's good.
Thanks. Now it's time for Save Susan.
Hi guys, I'm Philip. I'm with the startup Save Susan. Susan's actually my mom. Susan has had several jobs during her career, and therefore she also has several pensions. And for some of these pensions, fees are eating them up. And she's actually not alone in this situation. There are currently 1.2 million piecemeal pensions all over Denmark, and the number is growing every year by around 3%. Save Susan is an easy way to check your pension schemes, consolidate them, and save money. All right, so let's start with just defining the problem. So basically, a lot of people have a lot of pensions, and there are many reasons for that. One could be that you have several jobs. You could have signed up for a private pension, and also some of these pensions you pay quite a few fees. Maybe they're inactive, the pensions. Maybe you're already retired, so you pay every time you get money out of it from your pension. You're also missing an overview. It's actually quite hard to get an overview of your pension. And for most people, when they get the overview, it's quite hard to understand it. And the industry hasn't really been doing much to create a more transparent pension market. So there's a need for a product that does that. We reduce savers' fees by giving them an overview and helping them consolidate their pensions. That's basically what we do. And it's quite easy how we do it. You log in by an MID in your browser. You get an overview of your pensions. And based on market available data, we estimate which of your pension will be the best one to combine all your pensions in. And we refer you to this player. And we won't charge you for that. Instead, we will charge the company we refer you to a small fee for the lead. So that's how we're going to make money out of this. So I'd like to show you a quick demo you can follow as well on your browser on your smartphone, if you want to. All right, so here we go into savesusan.co, and we press get started. Right, so first thing we type in our email, and then we log in with an MID because we need the info from pension info for your pensions. Great, we now have an overview of your pensions. We can see how much you have in total, and we also have an estimate of how much you can save. In this case, it's 2,000 kroner we think you can save. So people then ask to find the right plan. In this case, we find the plan. We think it's Pension Denmark with Ratepension Plus, that's the best plan. And we think we can save you 140 kroner a month. It's based on market available data. So basically now we refer you. And we say congratulations, we send on the lead. And you are also able to refer a friend. And Thomas, as we know, you're very likely to want this. We're actually going to refer you now, so you can check your phone, and you'll probably get a text from us in a second. Great. We are initially going to target retirees. And the reason we're going to do that, it's not a big market. It's about 43 million kroner in the leads in total. But there's a big catch here. There's a big value proposition to them, which is that they pay a fee every month for getting money out of their pension. So if they can combine 3 different pensions, obviously they only have 1 fee instead of 3 fees. So that's a big value proposition to them. Another thing is that once you're retired, it's easier to move you around between different pension funds. Customers like our product. We interviewed 11 customers this morning. Most people like it. The people that don't like it like to manage their funds themselves. So it's because they're more active investors and obviously don't like it. Most people actually would like to get an overview of their pensions and how much they pay. To get started with this, we would need just under 2 million kroner. for running 2 years. That's quite a lean operation. The market size is, as we said, 43 million for all the leads we could send on, which means that we would need to grab 4% market share within the first 2 years to break even. And we plan to do that with our go-to-market strategy, which involves Eldersain, the referrals that Thomas just got, press, and some guerrilla marketing.
Very interesting product presentation, thank you. One question, I guess quite a lot of people have a kind of company-funded pensions where you can't just move your pension funds away. Have you thought about that market as well? Or?
We have thought a lot about different markets. One of the reasons we want to target the retirees is because they're much easier to move around. We also have a plan for what segments we'll target next. Probably would be like the pensions that are at the bank. And then after that, I mean, that alone is a very big market. After that, we'll consider other options.
So a little bit about how you plan to scale this, because you're just talking about Denmark here, right?
Well, yeah, initially we're just talking about Denmark, and I think actually the market for this is quite big if you can remove the hurdles that is all the people that are tied in and this infrastructure. So we haven't really yet thought outside Denmark. We thought this initial case is just the one that are retired. Then will come the bank pensions on top, and then I think we'll have to see from there. We have different models.
And just a little bit about why not target the ones who are currently in a job, because there's a lot of people who run around with different small pensions.
Yes, I think we could do that,
yeah.
And I think it's also likely. But there's this case of the 60 kroner you pay every month for getting your pension out. It's just a very clear value proposition to these people. So I think it's just very easy to target them.
So I have a quick question in regards to the users, so retirees. So my mother's around 60 years old right now, and she has zero idea how to use technology. She calls me up all the time. How do I set up Facebook? How do I do this and that? How do you see this target audience operate on the sleek application that you just presented?
It's a good question. We saw, for example, Eldersain, the Danish Elders Association, actually has a sort of a guide for how to merge your pensions, which obviously shows that for them it's also quite a challenge, and will of course help you save it. Unfortunately, may cause some work for you to help your mother through it, but we think it's the most simple model we can build.
What about add-on services? Could you see that you're building a platform here which could generate more value going forward, or?
We have a lot of ambitions on building a platform, and ideally you would get in touch directly with the business owners, right, that give out the pensions. But we just felt like there were a lot of challenges to get into this market. I think this is a fast way to get in touch with consumers, and I think making this comparison we can actually go quite far with the business model just doing comparisons. But we'll definitely look into it.
Competition? Have you seen something?
I mean, there will probably be some. There is, for example, the opportunity that the Danish Pension Companies Association will make a similar solution. They may do that. We see this. There may also be, for example, from pension brokers, they may also establish a similar solution. Another example could also be to use this sort of, so this is a tool for the brokers to have a clear overview of the market. But there is definitely opportunity for competition.
Thank you.
One last question. The name, Save Susan, where did that come from?
Well, the idea started with my mom's called Susan, and she pays a lot for her pensions. So we wanted to help people like her, right, and help her save money. I think that's kind of the whole idea behind this. And so Save Susan just has a good.
Thanks, Susan. And now it's time for Karate Panda that will present Piggy. What was the name? I wasn't able to pronounce it.
We are Travel Piggy.
Travel Piggy.
Right?
Okay, so
So, we are Travel Piggy, and we greet you now. And please, tell me, who loves to travel here? Raise your hands. And who likes to save here? Okay, there are few, but this is what I expected. That saving is boring. Saving is complicated. We are targeting the young millennials. Most likely, most of us. Therefore, we are speaking with from our own experience. Most of the millennials does not have a saving account, or almost none. But they would be interested to have one if they would be rewarded. Therefore, we are offering them a solution, a gamified social experience to save together for their big adventure. We are going into the saving application business, but we are targeting it through the travel because we have this vision that we want to teach and educate people how to work with finance, how to save, how to be more conscious with money. And with this, with travel, we make saving fun. We make it enjoyable because we can save together. It is social. We are saving together with our friends, with our family, maybe our future family. And we can motivate each other. If we see that, let's say, Bob, he's behind with his savings. Hey, Bob, I challenge you. Do not drink coffee for the next week, and you are my guest when we will be in Italy, and I will buy you a coffee. And also, there are other gamification aspects, like achievements and so on. And is there a need for this? Yes, it is. We made online surveys, we made face-to-face interviews with customers, and there's a need for this. Saving is boring, and the Danish young millennials want to learn how to save and want some help in this. We also have validation from the corporate side because our main revenue stream is coming from lead generations. And because of this, we can start next week because we have interest from a travel agency, we have interest from two large Nordic banks, Spar Nord and Danske Bank. We also looked into the competitive landscape because this is a saving application, but we found that yes, there is competition, but we are focusing on the social aspects and we are focusing on travel, and that's unique. And I will give
the mic, Nicholas. Yeah, and we actually have a solution for this. So how we can actually start on Monday. We thought we could utilize PSD2 and wait for 2018 and just read people's balances because each of the saving accounts are individual and individual banks. But since we're not a bank, we're fast. We can't wait for 2018, and since PSD2 they won't allow us to read saving accounts. We just do it like Spear and getting the customer's permissions to read the accounts. So we made a mock-up for the app. Oh, okay. This is the front page. You see how much this is a Grand Canyon trip. You see your squad down there. You see how much already saved. You see your goal. You see how much you're left. You see the deadline, and here you see what's the money actually going for. Then you can create a new challenge. Okay, create a new challenge here, and here you challenge your friends. So you set up a goal. You'll be bungee jumping in Australia. You describe the goal. The next one, you challenge your friends. So here you invite your squad, your friends that you're going to save with. Here you're setting up the deadline. When are you going? Could be the bungee jumping in Australia. Invite your squad.
So just to be absolutely sure I understand correctly, so this is only for saving for trips. You wouldn't set goals for anything else here?
No, we are the niche. We are only for travel. Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, because millennials are travel a lot, so target for them. Target only for travel.
Okay, so the target group is millennials also. Yeah. All right.
Can I just ask? So if we are 6 friends going and we have a challenge, and we each decide to pay in 100 kroner or whatever it is, who has the piggyback? I mean, where do I put in the money, and who kind of takes the money out again, and how do you manage the funding and the money side?
You attach it to your account in your bank. So we don't want to be a bank or have a banking license. We just say overlay. So you might create a new account. You could do that. Or you already have a saving account. if you create a new account, you could create as a deposit and you can read it right away. But we're just reading each individual account by having your permission.
Do you see interest from the traveling industry for this kind of solution?
Yeah.
Yes, we thought about the revenue stream, for example, because this is like the potential platform here is like lots of millennials go there. Of course, if you're a travel agency, who wouldn't want to be there? You see a lot of people, they're saving a lot of amounts of money, so it's like a really potential customers and warm customers as well. We're also thinking like it's not just that you display your service there, it's also if you are a travel agency, you can also help your customers. So in the situation that you are offering your service, you can say, okay, we reached this budget, we agreed on this, but you can also use this app to actually read this goal. It's quite fun, exactly. And then, of course, also you might also have an interest in being on the app when you then go there. But it's also actually helping their service and their customer reach the goal of saving that amount to actually pay for it. So we would be interested as a travel agency as well.
Okay, and the revenue model which you have, could you say a few words about that?
Yeah, we talked about that as well, of course. Here it would be like the travel agencies, for example, would have to pay to display services there. We also talked about it would also be interesting since we say that you can stick with each of your banks, but let's say banks that would have show like, okay, we can show you can get this interest rate if you choose ours, because there might be a lot of amount there. It could be like 100,000 each person, so they could consider maybe choose a bank that would offer a good interest rate. So it is sort of like the marketplace, and then potential service providers could scoop in, you could say.
Yeah, as well as bank and insurance companies could.
So I just want to end on real fast with adding to your business model that it actually works, because we have virtual accounts with Lunaway, and the most popular virtual account is travel. So that's really true with millennials. But I want to hear that you had Dreams on your page also as competitive, and what Dreams is doing is acting as a normal bank, like as you said, telling don't drink coffee and then you'll save money, and that has the opposite effect. How do you see that convincing millennials to save up money and not sounding as a bank, like don't do this, don't do that? How do you get them to save money without that?
I can say, I guess you're a team of 5 people. I guess you all want to go, each of you. So it's like if one of you is behind in terms of the saving, it's sort of like peer pressure, but not like peer pressure, come on, save. Like if maybe your mother would say you need to save. It's like friends saying, come on, we really want you to join in on this trip, so come on, pick yourself up. So it's like piggy, but in a social way from your peer pressures, because they really want you to go to this trip. So in a nice manner, you could say.
Thank you guys. Now it's time for Price Insight.
Good job, guys.
Good evening. My name is Anton Hughes from Price Insight. Now, I know some of you in the audience tonight have experience with investing. Maybe you've tried some currency trading, maybe commodity trading. You know that it can be very easy to do the trade, but not so easy to do a successful trade. To do a successful trade takes a lot of background research. I would like to introduce you to Maria. She's based in the UK, she's 35, she's educated, and she's smart when it comes to money. She knows she needs to invest. Now she does 3, maybe 4 trades per week. For every trade she does, she's spending maybe 4 hours doing background research. She's reading Bloomberg, the Financial Times. She spends hours studying the price charts, looking for trading opportunities. At Price Insight, we're using artificial intelligence to go through and mine price data, fundamental data, and relevant news, looking for trading opportunities. We then review this using statistical analysis to find out when these price patterns have occurred in the past and how statistically accurate they are at predicting price changes. We then deliver this to you, the end user, in a user-friendly and fun mobile application. So let's see the app in action. We log in, and when you log in, you see, in this case, a selection of brokers. We're showing this to show that we're broker independent. We're not interested in doing the transaction. We're just a technology provider.
We push out in real time as we discover the trading opportunities to you, the user. We try to make it very clear what the opportunity is. If you're interested, you swipe to the right. If you're not interested, you can swipe to the left. To see more details about the trading opportunity, you simply click on the chart. In this case, we're looking at Microsoft. We also show this countdown because obviously trading opportunities have a time. They're not always going to be relevant. And we show additional news about the trading opportunity. If you want to do a trade, of course, you can simply click on the trade button, and that will take you to either an integrated trading opportunity or to the trader's trading platform. We've talked over the weekend to various traders, and we got the feedback that we were looking for, which is it's a very simple and fun trading application. We even heard the golden words, which is, I'm more likely to trade more. We know this is exactly what the brokers are looking for. In terms of competition, the financial markets are very mature. There's a lot of players out there. But over the years, many of the players have made their products more and more sophisticated. They've added on new ways to find information. And it's got to the point that the users are getting analysis paralysis. Ours is the only one that makes it very simple, and yet behind the scenes is extremely sophisticated. Our business model, as I said before, we're not a broker. We take the data from the broker, find the relevant trading information, and send that to the user. In terms of revenue, initially we want to work with 2 to 3 brokers. We're going to give the product to them for free so that they will work very closely with us so we can refine the user interface, get it to the point that we believe it can be habit forming. And we see a ramp-up time due to integration and possibly branding. This weekend, we've been extremely fortunate to get together the right team with the right technology, and we believe that the time is right for price insight. And now I welcome any questions.
So if I'm a customer with Saxo Bank today, for instance, what kind of news or kind of insights would I get from them?
From Saxo Bank, you get everything, and that's the problem. You're overwhelmed. Personally, I was actually working on Saxo Bank's trading platform just a few weeks ago, helping to build the new version of it. That's fine for active traders, but for people who have a day job, they don't have time to go through all of the different features of that trading platform.
How is the select? I mean, I understand there are like 2 or 3 brokers in the beginning and hopefully more in the system. But if I want to buy Microsoft shares in your example there, who decides which broker gets that order?
That's entirely up to you. So the business model is B to B to C. So we would partner with, for example, Saxo Bank, and they would then pass on this application to you. So the trade is executed via Saxo Bank in that case.
But it could be different trading brokers per order I put in.
If you have different trading accounts with different brokers and they're offering this application, then yes.
I think it's an interesting idea. We have in the bank active trading department which calls the customers and makes the deals. You are creating this digitally and could target a bigger market, bigger group of customers in a very cost efficient way. So I definitely see something in your user interface here.
And how much? How does your business model look like? I mean, how much money do you think there's in this?
It's very hard to say. The market is really big. I know typically from my own personal experience, building financial products that are used by the user and sold to the brokers, typically it's sold at about $30 to $40 per month. Of course, that's open for negotiation. Here in Denmark, the market isn't that big. Hence why we use the use case of United Kingdom, that's a financial hub. Asia is just off the charts, it's massive.
Thank you. Now, it's time for last but not least, Block Club. Please welcome Block Club on the stage. Grab your own clicker. Okay. yes, you can have. Can you have the laptop here?
Thank you.
You can see the sound while.
Can we get the coffee machine up here? Oh, we need the HDMI as well. Yeah, we brought along a coffee machine as well today. Because we we need to fix this first. So
You can see.
I can't see, unfortunately.
Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, check my timer.
Are we good?
Done.
Cool. So we're Block Labs, and we want to spice up corporate innovation with blockchain technology. So our presumption is that students and startups, they know a lot about blockchain and not so much about corporates. Corporate though, they know that blockchain can be applied in a million different ways, but they don't know how, and they probably need help. So our solution is that we want to facilitate people, bring them together, and have them build prototypes through the lean startup perspective. And how we are going to do that, and why, is because we spoke with a lot of firms during the past 2 days. They all said that there is a huge demand for blockchain right now. They want to know what's happening. They want to have the finger on the pulse, and right now we are the pulse. They want to get inspired. They want to recruit talent, and they want to see real use cases as well. What can we use it to? So how do we actually utilize blockchain? So in that regard, we actually utilized and made a use case for you guys during the past 2 days.
Yeah, so what we did was we created an automatic coffee machine. In this, we utilize the payment system is running through blockchain to verify that the transaction is sufficient. So when we try to run this, if I have enough money on my account, I will be able to pour myself a cup of coffee. So what we're doing here is, right now, we are talking with the blockchain. We try to pay for the coffee, the blockchain verifying it, and it was a success. So now we are making some coffee. Woo! Yeah, okay. The architecture is quite simple. It's the user will pay X amount of coins to this address here on the coffee machine. Then the blockchain will verify the transaction through the ledger to see if the user have enough funds. If it fails, it will output on my Mac, but it will let the user know otherwise, or otherwise it will pour me a cup of coffee. This makes it easy to create a smart, decentralized, and autonomous business.
Yes, basically, we want to challenge the way firms think about blockchain. We know that they have a hard time utilizing it, and we have all these use cases for it. We just made a coffee machine work on our own sidechain. Can we make a business model out of this? Probably. The secret sauce here is that we have our own sidechain in which people can easily attach their own prototypes to and conduct this machine learning to easily and quickly make the proof of concept in order to scale it afterwards. Yeah, so the launch strategy is basically, first we need to build a community. So how do we do that? We can do it through partnerships with universities, conducting workshops even for free. And once we have that, then we can attract the companies and actually have them propose problems that they have in which the Block Lab can solve for them. And then in the end, we of course want to establish some kind of location because then it's easier. Because right now it's scattered around and we want to centralize blockchain in Copenhagen. So yeah, we want to make Block Labs, and this is the team. It consists of 4 developers, a designer, for business guys as well. And that's pretty much what you need. Thank you.
So that was really cool. I think that's the first time you saw like a blockchain-powered coffee being poured at a presentation. Can you just take us a bit on about the possible outcome of what you're doing? So is it to have students and corporates do more with blockchain or understand it more? Just tell a bit more about that.
Sure, because we know that corporates, we've talked to many during the last 2 days, and we know that they lack some inspiration, and startups have a lot of things that corporates actually want, like agileness, the passion for it, and the ambitions for it. And we want actually to facilitate a place where they can work together. We know for a fact that corporates, they are not sharing their information. That's why the sidechain is private. But we also know that firms, they want to co-create stuff. So we allow them to actually co-create with startups and students that actually knows many ways that blockchain can be utilized.
So just for me to understand, so if I'm a corporate and I want to do something in blockchain, what is your role in this? Are you sourcing the students? Are you facilitating, building a bridge to whom?
We're facilitating. So basically what we think about right now is having the corporates proposing a challenge, just like Nets did Friday, and then doing hackathons in the Block Lab, solving this challenge. That could be a way to earn money, but it could also you could also, because all this insight that's going to be created inside this hub, that information itself would also be valuable.
Right. So if you actually had a physical space tomorrow, what would be the first thing you would do?
Partnering up with universities, we will place that near ITU first. We have network there. We know for a fact that through our team as well, that many programmers, they actually want to work with blockchain, but they need the concepts. And the concepts could be provided through CBS and corporates.
Yeah, this was very cool. I think we've been working with blockchain for quite a while, also trying to make it more on the ground, you can say, in Nets and the different partners like Coinify. I think this is actually one of the first time I've seen a very solid proof of it working. So thank you for that. I think so what I'm seeing is that you're suggesting that this is not kind of a product that you're going. This is more facilitating corporates and selling out consultancy kind of hours and partnering.
Yeah, well,
that's the business model.
The coffee machine here was just showing how quick you actually can prove a concept. Like the coffee machine yourself can actually be built into a business model because it's decentralized. So you can place that on the streets and have it pour out coffee and then just attach it, so yeah, it could be a business model itself, but it's just to show that you can use the lean startup perspective on building prototypes within blockchain.
I see blockchain as a general technology, and when we invest, we want to invest into an application which we think is going to be big and we can earn money on it. And you are at the lab stage, and you want to cooperate with the customers. But to become interesting to me, I would like you to find your own application and you own it yourself. It's your IPR, and that is what's building the ultimate value.
In that regard, because we have our own blockchain in which you can conduct these prototyping in, Hotline ICO.
Thank you. So, we have finished. Now it's time for dinner, but we have to wait the dinner. So, we would like to show you what I was obliged to do yesterday. Because yesterday I was obliged to jump in the camera, because it seems it's a tradition of Startup Week in Copenhagen. So, think about me that I'm coming from Rome with 22 degrees on Thursday, jumping the canal with 4 degrees. Okay. Are there children here? Because it's better to